Welcome, everyone, to Young at Heart, session number 123. I'm Father James DeLucio with the Paulist Fathers, here to welcome you to more nursery rhymes, stories, songs, poems, and nonsense to keep us all young at heart. This is a very hot day here in New York City. It's almost 100 degrees and humid. So we're finding refreshment in our parlor, which, by the grace of God, is gifted with an air conditioner. So I can comfortably read to you part 4? Yes, part 4 of Beauty and the Beast. Yesterday, we left off with the merchant finding himself cold and lost in the woods, happening upon a castle, which, as he enters, provides every possible need, from warmth to clothing to great wonderful food and a good bed to rest in. But in the morning, as he was ready to depart, he chooses to pick a rose from the garden for his daughter Beauty, and this suddenly brings out a beast who has remained incognito. Well, no, actually, who has remained invisible for the entire time the merchant was there. And now he says, for this ingratitude, the merchant must die. But interestingly, he allows him to go back to his home to see if one of his daughters will come and take his place. The merchant, of course, doesn't want to do it. And even more oddly, he says, when you go back home, take a chest and fill it with all the gold and whatever things that you like from this castle, which is richly endowed with so many things of wealth and comfort. So the merchant thinks, well, I'll go back. I'll at least give an inheritance to my children before I come back, because the beast says if he did not, that he would come and fetch him himself. So we're now back at the morning of the merchant's departure from the beast's castle. The merchant returned to the bedchamber, and finding a great quantity of broad pieces of gold, he filled the great chest the beast had mentioned, he locked it, and afterwards he took his horse out of the stable, leaving the palace with as much grief as he had entered it with joy. The horse, of his own accord, took one of the roads of the forest, and in a few hours the good man was at home. His children came round, but instead of receiving their embraces with pleasure, he looked on them, and holding up the branch he had in his hands, he burst into tears. "Here, Beauty," he said, "take these roses, but little do you think how dear they are, like to cost your unhappy father." And then he related his fatal adventure. Immediately, the two eldest daughters set up lamentable outcries, and said all manner of ill-natured things against Beauty, who did not cry at all. "Do but see the pride of the little wretch," they said. "She would not ask for fine clothes as we did. No, truly, Miss wanted to distinguish herself. So now she will be the death of our poor father. And yet she does not so much as shed a tear." "Why should I?" answered Beauty. "It would be very needless, for my father shall not suffer upon my account. Since the monster will accept one of his daughters, I will deliver myself up to his fury, and I am very happy in thinking that my death will save my father's life, and be a proof of my tender love for him." "No, sister," said the three brothers, "that shall not be. We will go to find the monster, and either kill him or perish in the attempt." "Do not imagine any such things, my son," said the merchant. Beast's power is so great that I have no hope of you overcoming him. I am charmed with Beauty's kind and generous offer, but I cannot yield to it. I am old, and have not long to live. So I can kindly lose a few years, which I regret for your sakes alone, my dear children. Indeed, father, says Beauty, you shall not go to the palace without me. You cannot hinder me from following you. It was to no purpose all they could say. Beauty still insisted on setting out for the fine palace, and her sisters were delighted at it, for her virtue and amiable qualities made them envious and jealous. The merchant was so afflicted at the thought of losing his daughter that he had quite forgot the chest full of gold. But at night, when he retired to rest, no sooner had he shut his chamber door than to his great astonishment he found the chest lying at his bedside. He was determined, He was determined, however, not to tell his children that he had grown rich, because they would have wanted to return to town, and he was resolved not to leave the country. But he trusted Beauty with the secret, who informed him that 2 gentlemen came in his absence and courted his sisters. She begged her father to consent to their marriage and give them these fortunes, for Beauty was so good, she loved her sisters and forgave heartily all their abuse. These wicked creatures rubbed their eyes with onions to force some tears when they parted with their sister. But her brothers were really concerned. Beauty was the only one who did not shed tears at this parting, because she did not want to increase her family's uneasiness. The horse took the direct road to the palace, and towards evening, Merchant and Beauty perceived that the palace was illuminated just as the merchant had first encountered it. The horse went off himself into the stable, and the good man and his daughter came into the great hall, where they found a table splendidly served up, and 2 covers. The merchant had no heart to eat, but Beauty, endeavoring to appear cheerful, sat down to table, and she helped her father eat something. Afterwards, thought she to herself, this beast surely has a mind to fatten me up before he eats me, since he provides such plentiful foods and entertainment. When they had supped, they heard a great noise, and the merchant, all in tears, bid his poor child farewell, for he thought the beast was coming. Beauty was sadly terrified at his horrid form, but she took courage as well as she could, and the monster, having asked her if she came willingly, "Yes," she said, trembling. The beast said to her, "You are very good, and I am greatly obliged to you. Honest man, go your ways tomorrow morning, but never think of coming back here again." "Farewell, Beauty." "Farewell, beast," said Beauty, because the monster immediately withdrew. And that is the end of part 4 of Beauty and the Beast. Thank you so much for joining me today. Stay cool, stay safe. If you're going out, wear your masks and accept those blessings from God, for this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad. Bye, everyone.